Welcome to today's deep dive. If you are a retail executive listening to this, you already know that in your world, execution is literally everything.
Yeah, absolutely everything.
You might be, commuting to headquarters right now, or maybe reviewing your quarterly strategic plans, or perhaps you're just taking a walk to get some distance from the daily grind, just trying to find a fresh perspective on your organization's operations.
And that distance is so important.
It really is. Well, we are analyzing an incredibly insightful piece of source material today from Multimedia Plus. It is titled, "The Most Overloaded Job in Retail Isn't What You Think."
Right, and the insights there are they're eye-opening.
They really are. It points to a massive systemic bottleneck in how retail strategies are actually executed on the ground. So I want you to think about your entire organizational chart for a moment.
Just picture the whole tree.
Exactly. If someone asked you to pinpoint the single most overloaded role in your company, where would you point?
It is so tempting to look straight at the C-suite.
Or maybe the head of global supply chain navigating all those logistical nightmares we see today.
Or perhaps the marketing director trying to keep up with, constantly shifting consumer trends.
Right. But no. According to the research and the raw operational realities outlined in our source material, the answer is the store manager. Okay, let's unpack this because this specific article completely shifts the perspective on where the friction in retail execution is actually occurring.
It really does, because headquarters often fundamentally misunderstands the day-to-day reality of the people tasked with turning that corporate vision into a physical customer experience.
Yeah, the disconnect is wild.
To establish the context here right away, store managers are the absolute ultimate linchpins of your entire operation. They're the exact point of impact, where a high-level corporate strategy literally collides with the physical, unpredictable reality of the customer.
Collides is definitely the right word there.
It is. The core belief driving our discussion today is that a brilliant strategy developed in the boardroom has zero intrinsic value until it is actively applied on the floor. Knowledge is only valuable when applied.
Yes, applied on the floor by humans.
Exactly. For any executive looking to meaningfully improve their entire organization's performance, the most crucial step is understanding what is actually happening to the people running those stores. It requires looking past the spreadsheets.
Past the idealized rollout plans.
Right, to examine the actual capacity of the human beings at the center of the operation.
So we have to start by looking at the sheer weight of the baseline job. The source material outlines the traditional demands of running a store floor, and those are substantial before any new initiatives are even introduced.
The baseline alone is a marathon.
It really is. We are talking about active sales leadership, constant team coaching, daily merchandising maintenance, and on-the-fly problem solving.
The classic.
The classics. And the article makes a very definitive point here. Store managers are not struggling because they lack capability or cannot handle responsibility.
No, not at all.
Retail has always demanded a massive amount of grit and multitasking from the people running the floor. Managing human beings and physical inventory simultaneously is, and honestly always has been, a deeply complex job.
What's fascinating here is that the core issue isn't the nature of the work itself.
Right.
The fundamental nature of retail leadership hasn't changed in decades. You still need to lead a team, and you still need to serve the customer. What has completely changed is the sheer, unprecedented volume of information, tasks, and directives coming at them today.
It's an avalanche.
It is a mathematical problem of time and cognitive capacity, not a lack of leadership capability.
Let's vividly picture that daily baseline based on the operational realities the source provides. Think about a typical Tuesday morning for one of your store managers.
Just a random Tuesday.
Exactly. Before they even open their email to look at corporate strategy, they are already managing complex shifting schedules.
They're dealing with an opener who called in sick at the last minute.
And trying to find coverage frantically, they are out on the sales floor actively coaching a team of associates who might have wildly different experience levels.
Right. One person's been there 3 years, another started yesterday.
Yep. They are reviewing yesterday's performance metrics just to adjust today's goals. They are doing the heavy lifting of onboarding that brand new hire you just mentioned.
Executing visual updates.
Responding to local, real-time operational changes like, I don't know, a broken POS system or a delayed delivery truck blocking the loading dock.
And throughout all of this, they are dealing with the inevitable, unpredictable customer issues that land right at their feet.
Right. So to the listener, I want you to just picture this exhausting baseline alone. That baseline requires a high-functioning, energetic, and resilient professional.
Picture that reality before headquarters even sends a single email. Consider the psychological toll of that baseline. A store manager is constantly context switching.
Yeah, every 5 minutes it's a new crisis.
1 minute, they are a mentor to a young employee. The next, they are a de-escalation expert with a frustrated customer. And then they have to instantly pivot to being a logistics coordinator. That is their starting line every single morning.
Which brings us to what the article refers to as the daily download from corporate.
Ah, the daily download.
Because on top of that frantic context-switching baseline, every single day brings a brand new stream of directives from headquarters.
It never stops.
It's a product launch announcement from merchandising. Then it's a promotional change for the upcoming weekend from marketing.
Then operations sends an urgent compliance update.
HR sends a mandatory training reminder for the seasonal staff.
And there's always that one highly specific urgent task from regional management that simply must be completed before the weekend.
Always. But I want to play devil's advocate for a second here. Let's look at that from the corporate side.
Sure.
None of these directives are inherently bad ideas.
Not at all. In fact, if we connect this to the bigger picture, these updates are the absolute lifeblood of a competitive retail strategy.
Right, marketing has to drive foot traffic with promotions.
HR has to ensure compliance and training to mitigate risk and build skills. Merchandising has to adapt visual displays to actually move the inventory. Every department at headquarters has a critical goal, and you, as an executive, need those departments to push the business forward.
Sending those directives is exactly how the company adapts to the market and drives revenue.
Exactly.
But doesn't headquarters usually have some sort of communications calendar? I mean, if I am sitting in the C-suite and every department has a valid, urgent initiative, how does this pileup actually happen in practice on the floor?
Well, they often do have calendars, but those calendars frequently exist in silos.
Silos.
The marketing department knows exactly what marketing is sending out this week. HR knows what HR is sending. But they rarely have a unified, empathetic view of what the aggregate load looks like for the person receiving all of it at once.
The marketing director isn't factoring in that their complex promotional rollout is landing on the exact same Tuesday that operations mandated a full physical inventory count.
Precisely.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The crux of the problem, according to the source material, is that from the store's perspective, these important updates rarely arrive one at a time.
They arrive all at once.
They arrive as a massive wave of critical information crashing down in the middle of a busy shift. And the delivery methods themselves compound the chaos.
The text details an absolute nightmare of digital fragmentation. We're not talking about one clean, consolidated daily brief here.
Oh, not even close. The sauce sprawl in retail operations is just wild.
It's a major contributor to this friction. Over the last decade, companies have invested heavily in technology to make headquarters more efficient.
But they have inadvertently turned the store manager into a reluctant IT router.
Yes, a human IT router.
We've all seen this play out. It is the internal corporate portal that requires 3 different passwords and a 2-factor authentication token just to access a PDF telling you a display needs to be moved.
And then it's a totally separate learning management system for training that has a completely different user interface.
Plus the task management app on the company tablet.
The messy email chains.
And the regional WhatsApp group that everyone unofficially uses because the official channels are just too clunky.
Or whatever new platform the company introduced last quarter that nobody knows how to use yet.
The article diagnoses this condition perfectly as initiative overload.
Initiative overload creates a severe cognitive drain. Your managers are wasting a shocking amount of time simply playing digital hide-and-seek.
Digital hide-and-seek, I love that phrase. It's so true.
They know a promotional change was announced on the all-hands call, but where does the actual execution guide live?
Was it an email attachment?
Was it an urgent task pushed to the app?
Was it a tiny link hidden at the bottom of the weekly newsletter?
Exactly. When a highly paid, highly capable leader is spending 45 minutes clicking through disparate portals just to find the instructions for their job, you are actively burning your own payroll.
This highlights such a crucial disconnect between the boardroom and the physical store. I want to challenge the retail executive listening right now. From headquarters, it is incredibly easy to assume that once you announce a strategy, execution has magically begun.
You click send and you assume it's done.
Right. You approve the strategy, the email goes out to the field, the box is checked, and the corporate team moves on to the next big project. They operate under this illusion that the wheels are perfectly in motion across 500 locations.
But the stores know the stark reality of the floor. Execution does not just happen. Corporate directives must be interpreted, organized, and physically executed by the human beings actually running the store.
It is not an automated software update pushing to a server.
No, it is a physical human process filled with friction.
Let's use this source as concrete examples to illustrate this translation process. Because an updated merchandising planogram is just a clean, theoretical diagram on a monitor at headquarters.
On paper, it looks perfectly simple.
But in reality, on the store floor, a merchandising update means heavy physical fixtures need to move. A manager has to physically dismantle a heavy gondola shelving unit.
And they have to do this while a customer is asking them to open a fitting room.
And while they are internally calculating how to cover the register because of that morning's call-out?
It's just endless. Think about the invisible hours spent deciphering corporate intent. A product launch means carved-out time for associate training.
And a new promotion doesn't just activate itself. The manager has to print the new signage, they have to find the acrylic sign holders, realize half of them are cracked, and then improvise.
They have to pull the specific physical inventory from the back room. They have to teach the team the talking points.
And they have to know how to override the POS system when the promotion inevitably doesn't ring up correctly on day one.
They bear the entire translation burden. They're taking polished, high-level corporate direction.
Which, let's be honest, is often written in corporate speak, not retail floor speak.
And they're instantly translating it into something a busy, potentially understaffed team can actually execute during a frantic afternoon rush.
It is a massive amount of intellectual and physical work, which brings us to a profound misallocation of talent. This is the great tragic irony highlighted in the text. Think about the profile of your absolute best store managers.
They are charismatic, they're empathetic.
They are natural leaders. They are the ones who motivate teams, build culture, and create that palpable positive energy that your customers literally feel the second they walk through the front doors.
This raises an important question. Are executives actively pulling their best leaders away from leadership?
According to the source material, yes. The modern operating environment is doing exactly that. It's a massive brain drain.
You are taking your most magnetic, customer-facing floor leaders and turning them into reluctant data entry clerks.
Instead of being out on the floor, driving sales, mentoring the next generation of leaders, they are buried in the back room doing administrative work.
They are sitting in a windowless room, logging into those multiple fragmented systems we talked about.
Searching for updates.
Meticulously tracking completion reports to send back up to regional directors. They are spending their premium mental energy just desperately trying to ensure that nothing slips through the cracks of this massive administrative net.
It's such a deeply relatable point. Nobody accepts a job in retail leadership because they are passionate about navigating 6 different software platforms to report on compliance metrics.
They get into it to lead people.
They take the job to run a dynamic business.
Which brings us to the bottom line for the executives listening. Retail success has always come down to one thing, and that is execution.
Always.
The most brilliant corporate strategy in the world is totally worthless if it doesn't show up consistently in the stores. And the people responsible for that are the store managers.
So what does this all mean? How do you, the retail executive, actually fix this?
It requires immense discipline from the C-suite.
The mandate outlined in the text is straightforward in concept. Make the job of running a store simpler, not more complicated. Let's break down the specific remedies the text offers. First, you have to demand clear communication.
This means implementing strategic gatekeeping at headquarters. Someone, often the chief operating officer or a dedicated retail communications director, needs to referee the flow of information.
You cannot allow marketing, HR, and visual merchandising to all blast the store simultaneously without any coordination.
There needs to be a unified, prioritized daily brief that respects the manager's cognitive capacity.
You also have to ruthlessly cut down on fragmented systems. The source explicitly warns against the constant introduction of new tech platforms. Stop introducing a new platform every quarter.
We know why this happens. Different departments at headquarters buy their own SaaS tools.
HR buys a fancy new training app. Operations buys a new labor scheduling tool.
But at the store level, this just creates login fatigue and utter chaos.
Yeah.
You have to overcome that siloed thinking at headquarters. Pick a centralized lane, integrate your systems, and stick to it.
Stop making your managers play digital hide and seek. Next, ensure training is easy to access and deliver. It shouldn't require an intensive tutorial for a manager to show a new hire how to access a product knowledge video.
The technology should be as intuitive as the apps they use in their personal lives.
Finally, deploy operational tools that actively reduce friction instead of creating more admin work. When you are pitched a new operational tool by a vendor, ask yourself one question. Does this new tool actively make the manager's life easier on the physical floor, or does it just generate a prettier analytics dashboard for the executive team at headquarters?
If it's the latter, you are just contributing to the initiative overload. You're adding administrative oil to an already flooded engine.
The payoff for tackling this systemic issue is enormous.
It really is. When store managers are finally freed from the back office administrative trap, when they are given the space to actually lead their teams, observe the floor, and focus on the customer, the entire organization's performance elevates.
Revenue increases because leaders are actually out there driving sales.
Retention goes up because associates are receiving real mentorship instead of just printed task lists.
Customer satisfaction improves because the store has a vibrant, attentive culture. As the article states, anyone who has spent time on the floor already knows this fundamental truth. Headquarters just needs to build their operational infrastructure around it.
Exactly.
So to wrap this up for the retail executive listener, store managers are the engine of your retail strategy. They are the motor making the whole vehicle move. If you want the car to go fast and you want it to handle the curves of a volatile market, you have to stop flooding the engine with administrative oil and fragmented communications. Give them the space to do the job they were hired to do.
Building on that point about managers constantly having to translate corporate direction during a busy shift, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. Consider the actual physical environment of your store manager right now.
It's chaotic.
Very. What if every single piece of corporate communication you sent was designed with the explicit assumption that the person receiving it is currently standing on a loud, brightly lit, busy sales floor rather than sitting quietly at a desk?
Wow, that changes everything.
It does. How would the format, the length, and the delivery of your headquarters messages need to completely transform starting tomorrow morning?
That is an incredible, provocative question to take back to your next boardroom meeting. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope these operational insights arm you with a fresh perspective to take straight back to your teams. Until next time, keep looking for the friction and keep leading.